Merry Christmas. I hope this video finds you well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brian Wallace. I am on the staff here at Pittsburgh Presbytery. I am the newest staff member. I joined the staff as an associate minister in July. And I have a number of areas that I work in. One of the areas I work in, though, is providing support for youth ministry throughout the Presbytery. And when you work with youth ministry, you can't help but work with youth ministry siblings, children's ministry, and also college ministry. So along with my colleague Beverly James and in partnership with our friends at Crestfield and Paul Humphreys, that's part of what I'll be focusing on as I settle into this role on staff. One of the things that I have been working on is trying to figure out a good terminology for this group of ministries. Age group ministries specifically related to children, youth, and college students is a really long phrase. We've tried some words. We've tried Christian education. We've tried disciple making. And I like all those words. They all apply in certain situations, but they all kind of fall short somewhere. So like disciple making covers all ages, and it covers a lot more than just age group ministries. It covers adults. It covers what we do in missions. So it's really broad. Christian education is actually a term that's kind of old. It refers to a model that no one uses anymore. But again, it's not specific to age. It can cover from young to old. So the term I've actually decided to use is a term, ironically enough, I hated when I first heard it. I was at a conference, I heard next-gen pastors, and the only people who had next-gen pastors were big megachurches. I was like, that's just another big megachurch fancy word. Once I thought about it and did some reading about it, I actually found out I kind of like the word, and let me explain why. One, it's biblical, straight out of Psalm 78. We will declare the glories of the Lord to the next generation. Number two, it's specific. It specifically says the next generation. So we're talking about nursery, kids in your nursery, newborn babies, preschool, early elementary, upper elementary, middle school, high school, college students. All that's kind of covered under this umbrella of next gen or next generation ministries. And so for that reason, it's kind of the term that I've chosen to adopt. I'm sure at some point someone's going to find a better term, and that's fine. But so when I talk about next generation ministry leaders, I'm talking about anybody in that area. So if you are a staff member at a church, if you're not a staff member, if you're a volunteer, if you're ordained, if you got a reverend in front of your name, great. If you don't, great. If you're a support staff at any of these churches where you dedicate a lot of your time to working with the next generation, children, preschool, middle school, high school, college, you are a next gen leader. And if you do that within one of the churches in Pittsburgh Presbytery or in connection to, you are a next gen leader in my book. So to that end, since I've been in this role, I've heard a lot of people come in and say to me, well, the Presbytery should, or would it be great if the Presbytery did? And I love a lot of the ideas I've heard. The interesting thing is that the Presbytery is actually made up of people. It's not just us as the staff. It's not even, pastors in the Presbytery. It is the people. It is the people who comprise our churches here within Pittsburgh Presbytery. Where the staff come in, people like Beverly and Paul and myself come in, is helping people get connected with one another, help them strategize a little bit, and help them organize. And that's what we're going to start working on here in 2017 and beyond, is getting next generation leaders, children, youth, college, etc., together to get them strategizing and working on what you really care about. When I first started here, I spent some time, I visited every church website in the Presbytery. I can't remember how many I went to, digging up emails and names of people who are children's directors, youth ministry directors, college staff, and put them all into a database. And we have over 70 people, just staff people who are dedicated to this area of work. That's not counting volunteers. It's not even counting solo pastors and small church pastors who care deeply about this work. Just 70 people who on a day-to-day basis are employed by our churches in this area. So we have a great network of people, a lot of people within our presbytery that we can work together and collaborate with. So one of my ideas very early on was we should get together. And we should get together for lunch because, frankly, it's just more fun to eat. So on January 26th at 11:30, we're going to gather here at the Presbytery office. We're on the north side, right on Allegheny Avenue. We're right down the street from Heinz Field, so it's easy to get to no matter from what corner of the Presbytery that you're coming from. We're going to get together. We're going to get together for lunch. I don't know the details on that and how we're going to do it yet, but we're going to have lunch. And then we're going to spend some time brainstorming. We're going to find out, what do you care about? I know children's ministry leaders who are saying, we need to collaborate on VBS. We need to talk about that. Great. I know people who are really committed to making sure that our child protection policies in our churches, all those things are up to date. Great. I know people who are passionate about leadership development work, who want to provide support mentoring for those of you who are just starting out in youth ministry. People who have been around 20, 30 years. There's a lot of great people in our presbytery. My goal is to help us get together, to work together, to get ideas together, to organize, to strategize, and to advocate, right? I've had people say, well, why don't we get more attention at presbytery meetings? Well, we need to get together. We need to organize and advocate. And my role, along with Beverly and Paul, will be to kind of help you all figure out the best way to do that, and to kind of guide that process along. So I'm really excited about the gathering on the 26th. As I said, it's a really simple agenda. We're going to eat. We're going to get to know one another. I want you to meet some of the people who are doing similar work in your area. And then I want to hear ideas. I want to brainstorm. We've had a lot of people say to me, we should plan mission trips for youth in churches that are too small to do their own, right? That's a great idea. All right, so can we organize and plan around that? I have a tremendous passion to find the best of our middle school and high school kids and say, have you ever thought about becoming a leader in the church, and making sure that we develop ways for you all, as people who see them every day and every week, to help them grow in that area. So there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of great stuff. I want us to get together, talk about that. So that'll be January 26th, 11:30 here at the Presbytery office. Lunch will be involved. We'll let you know the details on that after the first of the year. One thing I want to say in closing is that I hope you had a great fall. For the last 10 years, I have lived that calendar of the fall kickoff, the build-up, and all that goes with that into winter. For those of you who are in the youth ministry world, into retreat season, and now into spring. I've lived that world. Part of me misses it. Part of me doesn't miss it so much, but I have been praying for you throughout the fall. The work that you all do is just so essential. I know oftentimes children's ministry and youth ministry people and college ministry people, they feel like second-class citizens, like they're just not quite as important. And let me say, in my book, you are as important. You mean as much to those kids who show up in your churches. You mean as much to their parents as any pastor in any of our churches, and I would say that out loud in front of anybody around, because it's true. So I hope you've had a good fall. I hope you're looking forward to a great spring, and I hope, for those of you who I haven't met, I hope to meet you on the 26th, and I hope you get a break. I know for us, we took these couple weeks around Christmas and canceled programs, things like that. So I hope you're going to get a nice, refreshing Advent and Christmas break here, and then right back at it in the work that you do starting in January. So hope I see you here on the 26th. God bless.